Hey crew, welcome back to our channel. My name is Stacy.
And my name is DJ, and today we are talking about sex. But first, let me set the mood real quick.
I can hear them thinking out loud, loud. Simple people acting so proud, proud. I hear them they don't know about us, babe. They don't know about us. They can think what they
How long she been sitting there?
I don't know.
Man, kids are haters, man. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to our channel. This is After The Vows, where we do marriage advice and have conversations about it. So if you like videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. All right, so today we're talking about sex, and we've been together for 10 years, married 9 years, and that's still an uncomfortable topic to talk about. And I think that's because of the worldly definition or the worldly expectation of sex. I think a lot of that expectation comes from being single or not really knowing what marriage is about prior to us being saved, at least us particularly. And all of that is completely wrong.
I know as far as being a woman, when I was a teenager, I had friends that were having sex. You kind of just wanted to fit in. You didn't just feel the pressure from the person you were with, like your boyfriend. You felt it from your friends, and you wanted to be a part of the conversation that was going on.
The entertainment industry too, because it's like in every movie, it's in commercials, sex sales. So.
Right, and so I was wondering, like, I know it was a lot of pressure on girls to have sex and lose their virginity, but growing up as a boy, did you feel that same pressure?
That is a good question, and I would say, yeah, you know, it was kind of, you wanted to be involved in a conversation with your boys, you know, as they talked about who they've been with and
how many people they've
been with. But I would say for me, it wasn't necessarily peer pressure. I mean, people knew I was a virgin, and you know, I wasn't ashamed to say it, but I would say it's just like an innate drive to have sex. So a lot of the pressure was really internal, you know, dealing with my own lust issues, trying to battle against pornography and stuff like that. So
it wasn't external, it was more internal for you?
I would say it was induced obviously externally by pornography, but that was still like my interpretation of women and what women were for. You know, I had to say it like that, but
well, that's how it was. That's how it's presented in that form of pornography, and I think it sets in expectation when you do decide to get married and, you know, be with that person, be intimate with that person that you love. It sets an expectation and a sense of
expectation. Shouts out to Redefine TV.
Right, like what to expect that first time or every time when you are being intimate with your spouse.
We could definitely do another video talking about specifically pornography, but it's just like that stuff isn't real. You know, a lot of those women have to take pills and drugs and stuff before they do that stuff, and then afterwards they still have to deal with like the aftermath of whatever they did for that brief 5 to 10 minutes that you watch the video. Like they have a lifetime of damage that they have to deal with after that.
It turns out to be an issue with self-esteem if you're not careful, because you feel like, am I really satisfying my husband? Is he really thinking about me or something that he just watched? And it ties into having soul ties with people, because sometimes if you feel like you're not satisfying them, and they may not be satisfied, and they could go look for it other places. And so that creates soul ties. Even having sex before you get married creates soul ties, and you still have that same expectation going into the bedroom with your husband if you slept with multiple men. You don't feel like it's an emotional attachment, but it definitely is.
So I would say that's actually an advantage of being a virgin. So if there's any virgins that are watching this video right now, I definitely want to encourage you that you have an advantage right now. I know it feels like everybody else has an advantage over you right now because they know what sex is like, they've experienced it, but you have an advantage in not knowing what it's like. They might have had a very fun premarital life or a very dangerous one, depending on how you want to word it, but you'll have a healthier the rest of your life. You are coming into the marriage with no expectations, so you're able to fully focus on your spouse's needs and what you like, what you really like, not what you think you like, but what you really like. And then the other person that you're with is able to share that stuff with you, and that's beautiful, and that's something that you can't put a price on. So
you're discovering each other in the bedroom instead
Absolutely. Like I wish I could take back all of that and really experience that moment with the woman that I'm with for the rest of my life, the one I have to look at every day. Like if I could have had that moment, I think it would have saved us a lot of headache in the beginning stages of our relationship, because again, we came into relationship with expectations that were just unrealistic.
What if you marry somebody and the sex is whack? Well, if you don't have anything to compare it to, how would you know that the sex is whack and that's not how all sex is? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that, but I think ultimately whack sex is evidence of your lack of communication. And you can, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that there's any challenge sexually that any marriage can't overcome. If you're able to communicate your needs or what you want, there's multiple ways to achieve that type of satisfaction.
Right, because when your needs are met and your love language is being spoken, you're more turned on by that person. So it's not, I don't think it's an opportunity for the sex to be whack. If you're there mentally, if they mentally stimulate you, I know that's how I work. When we have deep conversations before sex, it's like 100 times better.
And more.
Right. More often, right. Yeah. So, talk to me more, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, my mind has to be stimulated in order for
your body to be stimulated. Come on, go ahead and talk about it. Go ahead and talk about it, baby.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it, but and then when you are intimate within the confines of your marriage, you're able to with no conviction be like, thank you, Jesus, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't have to feel guilty of God, this is good.
I thank God for my wife while we having sex, and you can only do that when you're married.
Right, it's just so weird.
Really ridiculous.
Yeah, it's weird when you're not married and you thanking God, and God is like, that is not how I planned for that to be. And we didn't do it right, so we're not preaching at you.
And I think y'all that have been followers for a while, y'all already know, we don't want to come off as models of perfection like we know it all. We're more of just witnesses of God's grace, of what we've been through in our marriage. And we're not perfect, so we all going through this journey together of just trying to figure it out. But I believe that there are 3 fundamental reasons for sex, and one being obviously creating children, right? So, and then the second one is pleasure, and then the third one is creating vulnerability, and that third one I think is particularly important when it comes to marriage. To expound a little bit on the vulnerability that sex creates, for especially fellas and some women out there too. By women, I don't mean you, but she's perfect. I got issues. She's perfect. Whenever you have, especially when masturbating or having sex outside of marriage, there's a reason why you feel that disconnect after you finish or release. Yeah, that. There's a reason why you feel that disconnect, because there's nothing that you're connecting with or no one that you're connecting with. And when there's no one that you're connecting with, or there's something that you're connecting with, like an object or something that you're watching on a TV screen, you're left feeling with nothing but shame and guilt, because that's not the way sex was designed. So I want to talk a little bit about what does a healthy sex life look like. So how many times a week should we be having sex, you think?
Honestly, I think it's different for every couple. Some couples, they need their tank filled every day. Their love tank, okay, if you will.
My mind, yeah.
Oh gosh. No, but some couples need that need met, that physical touch, all that goes along with being intimate. They need that every day of the week. But there's also couples that they're good just doing it once a week. As long as you have the conversation and intimacy in other ways, not physical, then both ways are good. No way is wrong. Every couple, it's a different number for each couple.
What about you?
I am good, honestly, like once or twice a week. As long as we have that intimate, deep conversation, then that's perfect for me. But what about you? Because we...
Now, it might sound different from what most dudes would say, but honestly, I agree. I think, once or twice a week. I honestly don't like the idea of putting a number on it, and I think you guys are kind of seeing a trending topic here from my last video is with every relationship, it really just depends. You can't just put like a stamp like this is the goal that you need to meet or your marriage is a failure. It's really about communicating your needs, and when those needs are met, it's a success. Whether the needs are up here or the needs are down there. It's just, as long as those needs are being met, then you have a healthy relationship.
Question that I know some people might want to ask, because I'm curious. What do you do, or what do you think you should do if you and your partner have different, of course you and your partner have different love tanks that need to be filled. What if your number was 7 and my number was 1 or 2? Then what do you find that common ground and still are happy about it? Like if...
I still would say it comes down to communication between the couple, but there is a Bible scripture, 1 Corinthians, I believe, that talks about that the couple should come together as often as they can, except for times that they're devoted to prayer, so that they're not tempted by Satan. I know for most men that I know, we're in a real battle against lust and sin. Trying not to sin against ourselves and sin against our spouses. So you're actually saving your husband from sinning against himself. I know I gave up pornography a long time ago, but masturbation is still something that I think about as often as we're able to come together. Even if it's more than 1 or 2 times a week, that's just less time that I have to struggle with that. I've honestly, just being honest, I probably never really expressed to her how hard it is to fight against masturbation,
No, this is news to me.
Yeah.
You guys are hearing it, we're hearing it together.
So yeah, just being honest. It's not as big of an issue maybe for me as it is for some men, but it's still an issue nonetheless. And it's something that I don't want to do. And the more that we're able to have not even just a happy sex life, just a happy, relationship. Even when we're good and having a good relationship, I'm still not thinking about it, It's just those times of unhealthiness or the time when we're, not being able to be together, I'm struggling.
That brings it back to the man being led by God. The woman is supposed to be led by her husband, and then the man is supposed to be led by God. So if you're being led by God and you're focusing on whatever issue that is between you and God, and then of course bringing your spouse in so that they can understand, that might make it less of an issue to your spouse, like feeling like they are the problem, like the wife is the problem.
You fine, so
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we got 3 kids, so I keep running up in there for something.
Oh my God. And a lot of people really think Christians are like prude and they don't have fun or don't have a sex life.
I don't know who y'all looking at on TV, but like real Christians are crazy.
Like what is that, the 19 and counting? They're Christian. They got plenty babies, so they having some fun, okay? All right. This has been a really good conversation.
Absolutely.
If you enjoy conversations like these, make sure you subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and make sure you hit the notification bell as well so that you don't miss an upload. We upload a new video every Sunday. This has been After the Vows. My name is Stacy.
My name is DJ.
Peace.
Out there.